It was a cold morning in Dallas, Texas. Inside a shiny Mercedes dealership, the air smelled of new leather and pride. Salesmen in crisp suits were laughing over coffee when a ragged-looking man walked in. His jacket was worn, his jeans faded, and his boots dusty from the road. The laughter quieted for a moment, then returned with a mocking edge. "Can I help you, sir?" one asked with a smirk. The man looked around, his calm eyes landing on 5 brand-new Mercedes-Benz Actros trucks. "I'll take all 5, he said softly but firmly. For a second, silence filled the room, then laughter burst out. "Sir, maybe you should try something." "Smaller," another joked. The manager chuckled and told him the price, expecting him to walk away. But the ragged man only nodded. "I see," he said quietly and turned to leave. Outside, he pulled out his phone and made a brief call. Within the hour, 3 black SUVs rolled into the dealership's lot. The laughter inside died instantly when the company's biggest client stepped out of one SUV, the CEO of a national logistics firm. And beside him stood the same ragged man, watching the shocked faces behind the glass. The dealership fell silent as the CEO approached the ragged man and shook his hand warmly. "Mr. Reed, are these the trucks you wanted for your new branch?" he asked. The salesmen froze, their faces turning pale. The man they had mocked wasn't a drifter. He was Tom Reed, owner of a growing logistics company that transported goods across the country. Just a few years ago, Tom had driven an old pickup, working long hours to build his dream. Now he was expanding his fleet, ready to invest millions. Within days, the story spread like wildfire. Local news channels picked it up, headlines flashing across screens. "Dealership loses $1 million deal after mocking poor customer." Social media was flooded with comments praising Tom Reed for his humility and exposing the arrogance of the dealership. Reporters visited Tom's logistics company in Houston, where he stood beside a line of brand-new trucks he had purchased from another dealership that treated him with respect. "I didn't do it to humiliate anyone," Tom said during an interview. "I just wanted to remind people that you should never judge someone by how they look. Respect costs nothing." His calm words reached millions and inspired countless stories about kindness and humility. Meanwhile, the Dallas dealership suffered. Customers canceled orders, reviews turned negative, and within weeks, the manager was fired. The same employees who had laughed were left without jobs, paying the price for their pride. Tom, on the other hand, continued to grow his business, donating one of his new trucks to a charity delivering supplies to struggling families. The man once mocked for his dusty boots now stood beside gleaming trucks, a symbol of hard work, dignity, and the quiet power of respect. He looked around the showroom, his calm gaze meeting the eyes of the men who had laughed at him. "I came here as a customer," he said quietly, "to see how your staff treats people who don't look rich." The manager stammered, apologizing, but Tom raised a hand to stop him. "No need. I've already found another place that values respect more than appearance." The CEO turned toward the embarrassed staff, his tone cold. "You just lost $1 million deal because of your arrogance." As the SUVs drove away, the showroom felt emptier than ever. The men who once laughed now stood speechless, realizing they had mocked the very man who could have changed their fortunes. A year later, Tom Reed returned to Dallas, this time dressed in a sharp navy suit. The same dealership had changed ownership and looked brighter, friendlier, and more welcoming. Tom walked in quietly, greeted by new staff who offered him coffee and genuine smiles. No one looked down on him or questioned his worth. They showed him around the latest Mercedes trucks, explaining every detail with patience and respect. After a long walk through the showroom, Tom turned to the manager and said with a calm smile, "I'll take 5 of these." The staff looked surprised, but quickly started preparing the order without hesitation or laughter. When Tom revealed his name, the manager's eyes widened in shock. "You're Mr. Reed?" he asked softly. Tom nodded, smiling. "Yes, and I'm glad to see how much things have changed here." The manager thanked him sincerely, promising that every customer would always be treated with respect. As Tom signed the papers and stepped outside to watch his new trucks lined up, he felt a quiet satisfaction. This time, he wasn't there to teach a lesson, only to reward those who had learned it. Respect, he thought, was still the greatest investment of all.